y'all, it's your girl Ariza, licensed clinical social worker, test prep guru, your personal hype squad, whatever you need me to be to help you level up and pass that exam. Today, I'm going to be going over part 2 of our DSM series. Yes, part 2. I'm going to share my screen, all that good stuff. Last time I didn't share my screen, but hopefully you followed along and you got the gist and you understood it and things was just clicking. Anyways, so first and foremost, I got to start out by thanking my members in my YouTube channel. I just want to say thank you so much. I see some of you are joining and tapping in and having our little private conversations, and let me know. Some of you guys might want me to jump on a live again. I did the live, it did exceptionally well, but if you guys want to do a live, like say maybe once or twice a month, where you just ask me your test prep questions, I tap in, I help you, I guide you, all that good stuff, just let your girl know. At the YouTube channel, it says join, and I'm just looking for some ways to bless you guys and help you, because you guys constantly bless me. I'm able to level up with equipment, with different things that I need to keep this channel going, my editor, all of that stuff. I just love it, and I'm just truly grateful for you guys. So I had to stop by and just say that. And if you are not a member of the community, yes, the community, the free community, we just jump in there, ask questions, get the cheat sheets, all that kind of stuff, make sure you tap in. It's at www.arizahillman.com. It's Ariza, ARISZA. Some of you leave the S out, some of you leave the Z out, but it is an S and there is a Z and there is an A. All right, I think you guys got the gist. So today we're going to be talking about the DSM. And the DSM is probably one of my favorite. I would probably say it's one of my favorite topics when it comes to anything test prep related or anything clinical related. I just love the DSM. I just think it's a dope tool. I think it's very helpful. I think it's something that can guide us and help us really just level up and do the things that we need to do on a more clinical level. So this right here, this series, of course you can tap in if you're working towards your LMSW exam, because there are some diagnoses that you must know when it comes to it. But it's asking you in a general context. You're not treating, you're not diagnosing, you're more coming from a generalist perspective, being able to identify, yes, those are symptoms of bipolar, yes, those are symptoms of major depression, all those things. So you have to have the knowledge. Now, what technique, what tools, and how you would utilize it, and what you should do, taking it a step further, that's more in the LCSW territory. All right. So my LCSWs, yes, I call you that in advance. I know you don't have it yet, but we need to speak it in existence. So if you are working towards your LCSW, I'm talking to you, because I know you're going to soon have it. And as I go into this topic right here, I just have to pause for a moment. I have to say this. I know I said it on some other videos, and I just have to share. It just speaks to my spirit that is so many of you guys out there killing the game. I'm telling you, killing it. I'm getting messages. I'm getting emails. I don't care if it's TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, like just all these messages of people telling me how they effing BM'd it. Yes, that's what we call it, effing BM'd it. That is it. FN, first, next, best, most. Yes, effing BM it. Absolutely. Some of you guys are getting tongue-tied on that acronym, and I'm not gonna lie, I've been getting tongue-tied too. So I got a certain way that I say it now to just make sure it just flows. But anyway, some of you guys have been sharing how that method has been a game changer in your exam. I even had people who have not passed the exam say that they know they wouldn't have gotten as far point-wise and been as successful if they have not used that method. So if you're not familiar with that method, you need some support or you need some assistance with tapping in, let me know. When I do private tutoring or I'm doing my coaching sessions, that is a method that I utilize and I discuss, but I'm also meeting you where you are. So if you have a technique or an approach that's working and it's hella helpful for you and it's getting you the results you need, by all means, you keep using that. You don't got to switch over and do nothing different. All we want to do is help you get what you need to do so you can level up and pass this exam. And with that being said, there's a lot of people that's passing, but I'm real. Unlike other sites and other test prep companies and stuff like that, I'm going to be real with you. There are people who are not passing. That's just, it is what it is. It's just the nature of the game. I'm not going to say I have 100%, 90%, 80% success rate. Is the success rate high? Absolutely, because we killing it over here at LCSW Vibe. However, there are some people who are learning, and the people who are not passing that has worked with me personally in some kind of shape, form, or fashion, whether it's a boot camp, whether it's this, I'm telling you this. What makes them different is that they're either passing, or if they're not passing, they're missing it less than 10 points. And some of you are like, okay, but under 10 points, they still ain't passed. Whatever. They can sign that waiver and they got your girl that's going to walk them through so they can pass it on the second time. That's just how we do. Sometimes it's not about how much you prepare for a thing and how much you put forward to it. It's sometimes the timing. Timing is everything. God blesses us when we're ready and when it is our timing. And sometimes we look at it as, oh, we should do this and I did all this and I did that and so did this. Don't compare your testimony. Well, don't compare your story, which is soon to be your testimony, to other people. Don't do it. Please don't do it. So focus, guys, on your story, your situation, your circumstances. I know a lot of you are scared, sad, crying, upset, have all the feels, and feel it. Rightfully so, feel it. You guys should feel those emotions because it's really hard out here not to be successful and pass the exam. All right, guys, real quick. I'm always talking about the community, the LCSW vibes. We leveling up. And this is the sneak peek of the community. As you can see, it's on and popping. We got a lot happening. I got ethics over here, human development, or study guides that you guys asked me about on the YouTube channels. All right there. Test questions. You just want to level up and learn and see if you can answer those questions. I'm testing your knowledge. Let me go back to the home screen. If you want to learn more about what services I offer and what other things are there, that is where you go to the learning tabs. We leveling up, so why don't you join so you can level up too. But let's jump into this presentation. All right, so we're jumping into how to study the DSM the right way. All right, and when I say the right way, I know a lot of people do use the DSM and they start memorizing information. They're like, oh, that means this and this. But I want you to be able to apply what you know. When you see an exam question or scenario or situation or someone that is dealing with these certain symptoms, you can understand it and apply the knowledge that you have to the scenario and not just memorize a thing. That's just how I like to teach. Everyone's different, but that's just my tidbit for my video and for my people. All right. So what to study from the DSM and what to skip. The exam doesn't expect you to know it all. That's just the reality. It doesn't want you to know everything in the DSM. The DSM has over 200 plus disorders. Absolutely. And it does not want you to know all that. So stop studying the DSM like it's a flashcard deck. Most people fail because they over memorize, they underapply. You don't need to memorize all of it. All right. You need to learn how to think using the DSM and using it as a clinical tool. So this is what I don't want you to do. Don't cram symptom word for word. Don't highlight full pages without summarizing. If you see my DSM, like if I'm under, say, bipolar 1 and bipolar 2, under bipolar 1, I have the mania highlight and how many days and likely to have hospitalized. That is highlighted. And then I go to bipolar 2, I actually have in there hypomanic and under 5 days under and did all this stuff. It's like highlighted, so automatically that comes to my mind. All the other stuff is important, but it's not as relevant if I'm trying to figure out the difference between this one and the difference between this one. Memorizing clusters and forgetting function. That's a big one. A lot of people can tell you, like cluster A for personality disorders. You got schizoid, schizotypal, paranoid, but you don't have an understanding about any of those diagnoses. So it doesn't matter that you memorize that cluster. When I train my supervisees and we talk about it, I want you to know the cluster, but you know the common symptomology that is in that cluster and how to actually determine which one it is over the other one. And then you also don't want to spend equal time on common and rare disorders. Like, why would I spend 2 hours trying to understand encopresis and enuresis, and then spend another 2 hours on somatization disorders, and then another 2 hours on neurocognitive, and then another 2 hours. Some of that stuff is not going to be in the exam. So go with the heavy hitters. Go with the ones that you know are likely on the exam, which we're going to get into that in this series, and you study that. All right. And then also people study without connecting to vignette. A lot of times when I do supervision or if I'm doing my coaching sessions, I do a lot of case studies. And some people might think, why are we doing case studies? The tests don't have case studies. It doesn't. But if you understand a case study and you understand the person, the symptoms and what's going on and what's happening, you're easily able to apply it. That is the goal of this, being able to apply the information you have and simplify it and just make it flow. So that is pretty much why I like to go over case studies. That's just my way of teaching, my way of doing things. Again, you guys don't got to agree. You don't got to agree at all. You don't got to. This is how I would prefer for you guys to study. Yes, how I would prefer. I'm not going to say the only way. This is just how I would prefer. Your girl would prefer for you to do it. All right. So the DSM focus areas, you have common diagnoses. They show up about 80% of the case studies and questions that you have. That's that mood disorders. That's those depressive disorders. Those are those childhood disorders. These are the things that you should know. Yes. And then the duration. Often the only thing that separates certain diagnoses is the duration. If you have brief psychotic, schizophreniform, schizophrenia, schizoaffective, if you have those three and you're like, which one is which? The main difference, obviously schizophrenia and schizoaffective have some differences, so maybe I shouldn't use those two. But let's just stick with brief psychotic, schizophreniform, and schizophrenia. All the symptoms are the same. What's breaking them down is the difference. Brief psychotic, less than 30. 30 to 6 months, schizophreniform. 6 months or more, schizophrenia. That is how I want you to know it. Just know that all the symptoms, you got it, but it's that one thing that's going to separate them, and that's the time frame that the person is having or showing those specific symptoms. All right, functional impact. Like, we want to drive the diagnosis and the treatment. You understand that there's a certain way that individuals can function and they can behave when they have certain type of diagnoses. And then also based on the diagnosis, it also determines what type of treatment the individual needs. So please keep that in mind. Some red flags: They tell you when to act fast or when to refer. So if you're working with a client and they have a significant substance use issue, a lot of times people are like, okay, well, I know a little thing about substance use. I can do that. But remember, that's pretty much sometimes out of our scope. So likely if someone is battling serious substance use issues, you will likely refer them out to some type of treatment, substance abuse treatment, somebody that specializes that or something. If someone has an eating disorder and you're not familiar with eating disorders, they can be very deadly. They can be serious. You might want to refer out. So these are some red flags. If it says something you know is out of our scope of practice when it comes to the specific exam, especially if you're taking the LMSW, you know, you're a generalist, you're likely referring out. You want to keep those things in mind. And then differential diagnosis. Eliminate similar sounding options. I love how the DSM, if you go on the back, most people don't know, they probably have the little small version of DSM, but if you have the real DSM and you go on the back, there's a section called differential diagnosis, and it'll give you the diagnoses that are similar, not the same, but similar to the actual diagnosis that you're reviewing. So it gives you an opportunity to review it and see it and say, ooh, that's not there. I can cross that out. That's pretty much how it works. So please keep that in mind. All right. And then last but not least, cultural development. You must consider the context. So I like to look at the cultural and development of a diagnosis to understand like the prognosis with schizophrenia. I also know that borderline is more likely in females and narcissism is more likely in males. Doesn't mean males and females don't get them, but it's likely if I see an exam and it's talking about certain characteristics of a person, it used to say male or female in the old exam, but now they're doing the DEI and all inclusivity and stuff. They don't likely show up and say 44-year-old African-American female or 24-year-old white female. They don't normally do that to preference the race and things like that. But when it was that way, it was easy for me to use it and say, oh, this is a female. And I'm looking at borderline and narcissist and the other stuff, histrionic. I'm like, ooh, probably not borderline and narcissist and histrionic because those are more found in females. But let me just break it down and see the symptoms. And then there's certain things that I'm looking for. So that is important to understand when you understand the culture and developmental aspects and how that pertains to different diagnoses. All right, again, don't study every disorder. I want you to start here. This is a roadmap because I know a lot of you guys are like, you said don't study everything, but what do we study? Maybe you guys didn't say it like that, but that's just how I envisioned the responses in the comment section. All right, so if you start here, you have the mood disorders. Again, like I said, depression, major depressive disorder, persistent depressive disorder, bipolar 1, bipolar 2. Then you're looking at anxiety and trauma. What is generalized anxiety? How does that look? What is acute stress compared to PTSD? Very similar. Again, it's that duration and all that stuff. All right. Anyways, neurodevelopment, autism versus ADHD. You have someone on the autism spectrum. Does it look like ADHD? How? Why? What? These are the things you want to know and understand if you decide to study and go in depth when it comes to the DSM. Disruptive and impulsive control, ODD versus conduct. People get them confused all the time, and it's a huge, major difference, guys. Maybe I'll do a whole different series and video on that, but it's so different. You know, conduct disorder is like baby antisocial, so you know it's totally different. They have I don't want to get into that. No, let's stay on topic. Stay on topic. All right. So personality disorders, borderline, narcissistic, avoidant. Like understand the clusters because to me it's easier to learn that way, but understand what type of diagnoses are under each cluster. Then you have the psychotic disorders. The schizophrenia has that whole spectrum, when it comes to the schizophrenic disorders. So you got to understand the spectrums and understand how that works. And then of course you have substance related disorders. You want to know the difference between someone being intoxicated, someone withdrawing, all those types of things. All right. If you got me, go in the comment section right now and say, I got you. That's all. Just go in the comment section and tell me I got you. We making it through this video. I'm not even going to tell you how much time we got left because some of you are driving and some of you are pausing the video. Some of you are washing dishes, doing stuff with your kids. You got a whole lot going on and I just want your attention. So when you do take a break and pause, I want you to go and write your notes on what you remembered and what you understood. Real quick, sometimes when people go and they're looking, they're trying to figure out how to study, how to do the course. They're like, I watched all your videos. And I'm like, what's 100 of them? Almost. Did you watch all of them? Oh no, I had no idea it's all those. So I share with you guys how to go to my page, LCSW Vibes, the actual page on YouTube, and go to the search engine and search certain videos that you might want to look up. Because a lot of you guys have messaged me and said, do you have a video on this? Do you have a video on this? And I'll be honest, when I make a video, I go on and I have so much stuff going on with the community keeping me busy and my private tutoring, and then I have a private practice. Like I don't really have time to go back and remember like, oh, I did go over those questions in the video. I need to now do this. So sometimes when you guys ask me a question like, well, what was this? I made that video 3, 4, 5 months ago. I don't have the slightest idea. So I do need you guys to kind of give me some context or an example or something so I can understand how to go back and how to help you if it's something specific that we're working on. Again, you don't always need to know the right answer. I say this all the time to everyone that I work with. You don't have to know the right answer, but if you know the information and you know something, if you get all these questions and you're not sure the right answer, you can easily rule out the wrong ones because you know a thing or two. So if you really know what schizophrenia is and you really know what trauma and and anxiety disorders are, if they throw an obsessive compulsive disorder in there, you're not going to freak out because you already know it can't be this or this because I really know it. So it must be this. That's kind of what I mean when I say that. So most wrong answers are kind of close to the key criteria. So just rule it out based on duration, age, context, all that kind of stuff. Make sure that's what you're doing. Hey guys, I stopped by to tell you this. You do not have to win alone. Absolutely not. People in the community are winning each and every day. The proof is in the pudding. Go in the community. It's free. We're throwing down test questions, case studies, the FNBM method, all the details and everything you need so you can succeed. Click the link in the bio and join. You don't need to do this alone. See you soon. All right. Again, stop memorizing symptoms, start creating scenarios. So what I want you to do when it comes to studying, yes, I'm giving you guys a study tip, choose 2 to 3 diagnoses per study session. So if you're studying diagnoses today, what I would do is pick 2 or 3 of them. Probably, if it was me, I would do it in the same section. So I would be doing bipolar 1, bipolar 2, and I would pick another diagnosis in that section and just study all 3 to have a really good understanding of it. I would read the summary on the DSM, and I would probably watch a video or 2 just to make sure I'm honing in and understanding it. This is if you're not in the course or you're not doing something else that has the information a little bit more readily available for you. Make sure you do that. And then you write it in your own words, like bipolar 1, da 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 da, bipolar 2, da 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 da, and you write it out so you can have an understanding. And then you ask, what other diagnosis could this be? Like, what could change it? If this person didn't have this symptom or this person didn't have this duration, could it change the diagnosis as a whole? That is kind of how I want you guys to study, and that's kind of want you to look at it in a little bit more deeper fashion. Use the study framework. Pick 2 to 3 high yielding diagnoses per day or per study period, because I don't want you guys doing this each and every day, 7 days of the week, maybe 3 to 4 days a week. Say this is your DSM week. Pick 2 to 3 high yielding diagnoses on that Monday, regroup it on that Tuesday to make sure you have an understanding, and pick 2 more on Tuesday, and then regroup it again on Wednesday, make sure you understand it, and pick 2 to 3 more. Like, you want to make sure you have a system. Don't move on unless you perfected where you're at. That is the one thing that I think you guys are doing. You're studying, but you're not comprehending and understanding it and being able to apply it when you need to, because you just have all this content. You're like a content vault, but you don't know how to apply the content that's in the vault. Keep that in mind. All right, you also want to make your own case examples. Focus on the duration, the distress, the impairment, all the things the person is dealing with. And then use some practice questions using process of elimination if you don't understand and know all the diagnoses. And you always want to review by comparing similar diagnoses. And I've told you, if you're in my course or in my boot camp, you get a copy, or should I say not a copy, but you get the diagnostic dashboard. I've showed you that in the other video. Diagnostic dashboard has been a game saver and a game changer for a lot of people who are taking the exam, because it really helps you hone in on certain diagnoses that you might struggle with, so you're not utilizing the whole DSM. Now remember, here I'm teaching you guys how to use the DSM as a whole, but let me share this part real quick. But as you can see here, if you're using a DSM dashboard, you might not have time to go through the whole DSM. So if you don't have time to go through the whole DSM, it gives you an opportunity to hone in on certain actual diagnoses that you can focus on more. So if you go to agoraphobia or social anxiety, selective mutism, then you go down here. If I say depressive disorders, just stick here. That's it. Just stick in that area. So that's pretty much what I would want you guys to do, the diagnostic dashboard, just to kind of give you a little bit more context and a little bit more understanding. That is what I would recommend you guys do. All right, back to the presentation at hand. I just wanted to share that with you guys so you can have an understanding and know another tool that you can use if you have access to it. All right, so another tool, study what scares you first. It's kind of like eating your vegetables. For those of you that don't like vegetables, or your children, when you were a kid, the parents said you better eat them vegetables. They wanted you to knock it out first. It's kind of like also how I start my day. I eat the frog first. If you guys are on my other channel, my Coaching the Elite, where I talk about all business strategies, concepts, that channel was built way before this channel. It doesn't have as many followers, and I kind of slacked off when I started this one. But I'm picking it back up, and it teaches you about just business strategies. It doesn't matter if you're in private practice or not. You can always benefit from the things I'm sharing on that channel. But I have a video that I did. It's called Eat the Frog First. And that's pretty much my motto. I eat the frog first. The frog is not, think about it. If you eat the frog first, you're dealing with what's the least exciting, least tasty, the thing that you don't want maybe as much as you want the other part. So normally we don't eat the ice cream and cake before we eat the vegetables and the potatoes, so it's kind of that concept. When I get up in the morning, I knock out my workout. I do the things that are tough and things that are challenging, and the things that if I waited to the end of the day, I likely would not get to. And that's kind of how I want you to do your studying. Study what scares you. If it's a certain diagnosis that you don't like, you don't feel comfortable with, tackle it. Don't avoid what confuses you. You want to conquer it. You want to conquer that. Another example, I'm going to give you an analogy. Did you know that the buffalo runs towards the storm? Yeah, I thought that was an amazing thing. I didn't know that. So basically, if there's a storm coming, normally the buffalo runs towards it, because they know if they run towards it, they're going to kind of go through it. The storm's going to keep going, and they're eventually going to be out of it quicker than staying here and dealing with the storm coming to them. Genius. Animals, oh, we can learn so much from them. But anyways, it all goes with the same concept. Tackle it like the buffalo, eat the frog first, study what scares you. Like, we need to have a different mindset when it comes to accomplishing this test prep journey in this game. And these are tools that you can use for a lifetime. So hopefully that was beneficial for you and it makes sense, because that is what I want you to do. Just trying something that can help you get to the next level. Are you studying for the LCSW or LMSW exam? Don't waste time on the wrong prep. Try my test prep program for free with a full module that gives you the real strategies, the real practice, and real results. Plus, you get access to my exclusive test prep community where you'll find support, study material, and accountability. No risk, no stress, just results. Click the link in the bio so you can get ready to win with the winning team. All right, learn to study the DSM with strategy. You don't need to know it all. You need to know how to think. And if you want more practice, join your girl every week, unless there's just a week that I absolutely can't make because I'm vacationing or out and I don't have coverage. We do our coaching community. We do an hour of coaching each and every week. You hit me with the topics that you most dear to your heart and you feel you really need to study and understand, and you can join those coaching calls. Absolutely. And then we also have a full test prep course. I have a community, and boom, baby, that boot camp is changing lives. I'm just being real with you. That boot camp is helping people pass this test left and right. So if you have not invested in yourself and you're like on the fence, like, I know I need to do something, I just don't have the money to do it, or I spent so much money in test prep. I hear that all the time. But think about it, guys. It's unfortunate that you spent a lot of money on your test prep, but you spent your money on the wrong things, the things that didn't help you elevate. It didn't help you reach where you were trying to go. Am I guaranteeing that you do work with me that's going to happen? No, but I'm definitely increasing your odds for sure. I'm increasing your odds exponentially, making up my own words. But yes, that's what I'm doing. I'm increasing your odds. And the thing about it is, if you don't pass while you're working with me, I'm going to work with you until you do. That is the difference. Ain't no test prep guru out there telling you that. You like, look, I missed it, I didn't pass. And they're like, okay, well, keep doing this or purchase this or do this or come back for this. No, we're going to tap in and figure out what's the disconnect. Like, what happened? What took place? And that's what we're doing. So thanks so much for hanging out with your girl. I hope this video was hella helpful. I got a part 3 coming to you as well. Part 1, part 2, part 3 of the DSM series, because I want to tap in, make sure you really understand how to utilize this thing. And if there's certain diagnoses that I have not did yet, because I've done a lot, that you really have a hard time understanding and you need some support, drop it in the comment section. But don't do this. Do me a favor. Don't go in the comment section and say, can you do one on PTSD and anxiety? Or can you do one on personality disorders? Because I'm going to like the message and love it, because I appreciate you sending me a message, but I'm not going to respond because I've already did videos on lots of them. So if you have forgotten, go to the top of the YouTube channel where it says LCSW Vibes at. Of course, you know, your girl's going to help you. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again just to show you this, because some people was like, oh my God. Somebody told me this was actually the aha moment that they had when they watched my last video. They said that was the aha moment. I thought that was cute, because an aha moment could be anything. But here it goes right here. You on my page, you go here to that little search bar right there and you put in diagnosis. I'm just going to put diagnosis in. And then any diagnosis I've done, look at that. Understanding schizophrenia, mood disorders, DSM. I did a whole DSM series with questions and stuff added in there. Mastering assessment intervention planning section, that has a lot of stuff with diagnosis in it. Somatic disorders, hospitalization or no. That's going to give you some case studies and some information also. So these, you might want to go back to some of the older videos. The bipolar disorders explained in 8 minutes. Come on, guys, you got 8 minutes. Neurodevelopment, psychotic disorders. So basically you get the gist. You can just go down. We got signs of schizotypal, the DSM. So a lot of this stuff is going to help you lock in and have a true understanding of what I'm asking, what I'm telling you, what I'm sharing with you guys. So I just need you guys to level up. Click in, search in, and get all the stuff you need so you can pass. I love working with you guys. I appreciate the support. I appreciate the love. I appreciate all the comments. Yes, your girl is behind on commenting and responding, but I'm going to get you. You know I'm going to respond to you. You know I'm going to respond to you, and you know I'm going to help you out. But those of you that are part of the channel, the YouTube channel, you pay the $9.99 a month, and you are part of the channel. I have special comments and special tabs. If you go to the membership section, I drop certain videos just for you guys guys. I also have some cheat sheets and stuff that I pretty much have in the big community. But you guys, look, you're like, look, I ain't got time to be searching for it in there. I want it right now. So I put them in there, and I'll continue to add some in there for you guys. I'm also thinking about jumping on and doing a live, answering your most challenging test prep questions or concerns. So let me know what you want. I've been asking what you guys want. Some of you have been commenting, some of you have not. So just let me know what you want, because I'm really trying to help you guys get to the next level. And I appreciate you guys just spending a Starbucks each month for your girl. Definitely do. So I got to do something special for my crew. So thanks again. Thanks for tuning in. And I hope you guys have an amazing day. And remember, this test does not define you. You define it. So you do what you got to do to win. And over here, we leveling up.